So, 2025 has been the year of Lady Knights, and I've read a few of the Lady Knight books that have come out this year myself, so I wanted to do a general, you can see my reflection behind me, it's fine. I wanted to do a general tier ranking of all the Lady Knight books that I've ever read. I'm specifically talking about knights, not like warriors or any woman that fights. They have to have armor, they have to be sworn to royalty, they have to have some kind of code, and my tastes skew sapphic, surprising no one who knows me. So there are some books that have come out this year, like The Second Death of Locke and The Everlasting, and I feel like there's another one that I haven't read, because they're straight, and no shade, but I've read the sapphic ones. So let's get started with our tier ranking here. I'm gonna try out Screen Pal. Okay, so the categories that we have are top tier, she could run me through. She could do anything. She could run me through with her sword, and I would not care. And then we have the next tier down, Milady, Tip's Helmet. Just very, very good book. Very, very good Lady Knight. The next one requires a little bit of explanation. Who is that? Which is kind of a threefold phrase. First is, it's sort of the trope of like, the princess sees the knight jousting and goes, who is that? And then she takes off her helmet and like, she's a lady. But then also, who is that as in, I don't remember this book? Or who is that as in, that's not a very good knight? So that's that category, second from the bottom. And the bottom is, turn in your sword. You're a disgrace to knighthood. Turn in your sword, you don't get to be a knight anymore. So those are the categories that we're working with, and let's get started. I know we have 14 minutes left on the clock here. All right, first up is Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. Favorite author of mine, wrote the Tenserate series, a good series. So this is a novella. It is sapphic. It is sort of like The Mandalorian, where the main character like never takes her armor off, and she falls in love with a princess who's hiding a secret. And I'm gonna put this in Milady, Tip's Helmet. It was good. I think that the thing that interested me most about this story was actually the main character, Knight, kind of reacquainting herself with her culture, because she left her kind of hometown to go off to train to be a knight, and then she gets this assignment where she kind of comes back to her region and gets to learn more about like who she is and where she came from. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Next is Gideon the Ninth. We know her, we love her. I'm not including Hera the Ninth on here because it's not about Gideon. But Gideon is kind of stretching my my category here. She is a cavalier, so she's a sort of like a bodyguard, but I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna put Gideon the Ninth in Milady, Tip's Helmet. I gave Gideon the Ninth 5 stars when I read it, and then I read Harold the Ninth and did not understand at all what was happening, and I haven't read Nona the Ninth. I don't think I'm really going to be continuing with this series. It's just fine, but I did really like Gideon the Ninth, and I do really like Gideon as a character. Next is Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. My sister and I, Buddy, read this earlier this year, and we all agreed, all of us as being the two of us, that Bridget, the female knight in this book and love interest of Gwen, was the best part. She's like the only lady knight in the kingdom. She's of, I think, Southeast Asian descent, and she was great. I'm gonna put it in Who Is That? This book, it's not Bridget's fault. Again, Bridget was the best part, but this book is a rom-com, and there's a kind of a plot simmering underneath the like current of the book, and then all of a sudden the political schemes and plot are extremely relevant. I just realized that I can make it so that you can actually read what the titles are. Okay, there we go. We're finding out tiermaker.com together. Anyway, the ending, I wish that the whole book had been as like plot heavy as that ending was. Kind of in this book we're following a Britain that was ruled by King Arthur, like that's confirmed, and history sort of like changed since then. So it's a different England that we know historically kind of in modern day, and Gwen and Art have both been named after the historical figures of Guinevere and Arthur, but Gwen is a lesbian and Art is gay. Art is also half Persian, so there's that representation, and Gwen falls in love with Bridget, this lady knight, and Art falls in love with the crown prince. Bridget's Gwen's older brother, but they sort of have a like fake dating going on. I love a lavender marriage fake dating. I don't really like when fake dating turns into actual romance, but I do love like gay lesbian solidarity dating. Lady Hotspur by Tessa Gratton. I'm also going to put in Milady, Tip's Helmet. This is a like all-female retelling of King Henry the... hang on. A Shakespearean play that I haven't read. King Henry the... 6th? I think the 6th. But the main character is a lesbian, and then she has a love interest that is bisexual, and then third POV is a black woman who's the niece of the former king that got overthrown, and she's straight and goes across the like channel to another country where she sort of like gains allies. And it's very long, but like I was reading it when I had this fever a few years ago, this burning desire to read a lesbian Lord of the Rings book. And I've written lesbian Lord of the Rings fan fiction, and I finally finished it, so I can now go read my own writing, but I was like, I need a lesbian high fantasy. And I'd read from Tessa Gratton before and really liked her, so I liked this, and it goes over the course of like several years, I want to say, with all these like political machinations. It's really long, and yeah, I think it's really good. Next is Kel from Protector of the Small. This is a quartet, and I'm gonna put this in Who Is That? In the category and in the meaning of the phrase of I don't really remember this series. I know that I read it all through at one point. I read First Test, the first book, over and over again because I owned it, but I think I only read like Page and Squire and Lady Knight once each, maybe. I want to reread it, and this is set in the Tortall universe. It's the sequel series to the Alana series, and I know I read the first book in the Alana series, and I only remember like one scene in it, so I didn't even include it because I don't remember it and it wouldn't be fair. But Kel is confirmed by word of God to be Arrow Ace, so I love that, so I do want to reread this series. And I remember in Lady Knight, there's this scene where she's been training with the knight that's training her. Maybe this happens in Squire, actually. And then she goes to the baths where all these other women are, and she's like bathing, and they can see she has all these bruises, and they're like, did a man do that to you? And she's like, yeah, because she'd been training with a guy who was like, you know, giving her bruises from their fights, and they're like, we can help you if you need it. She's like, oh, no, I'm a knight in training, don't worry about me. So those are some of the only scenes that I remember from the series, so that's where I'm putting it in that category. Oh, Soak and Steel, she could run me through. This is one of my favorite short story collections ever. It is all sapphic fantasy short stories with like one sword lesbian and one like diplomacy lesbian, and those are all of the pairings, but they're like, okay, they're not just fantasy, they're also sci-fi, but they're like so many different types of stories. Some of my favorite authors have stories in here, like Neon Yang, I think Nevo. One of my like favorite short stories of all time, Dance in the Quartet, I think it's called, is in this collection. I love this collection. I recommend it to everyone. It is so much fun, and you will get all of these little like wonderful nuggets of like fantasy stories that you want to read more about, and you can't because there's only a short story. But I really love that. Spear by Nicola Griffith. This is another Arthurian retelling where it's a story of Sir Percival, but this time Sir Percival is a lady and a lesbian. And I'm going to put this in Milady, Tip's Helmet. This is a novella. This was originally started as an idea for a short story for the collection Sword, Stone, Table, which is all Arthurian retellings. I only have 6 minutes left. It sort of turned into more of a novella, but The love interest is a very important female character in the Arthurian mythos, and then there's like Lancelot, Guinevere, and Arthur are in a poly relationship, as they should be. But yeah, this is great. I highly recommend it as well. The Afterward by E.K. Johnston, Turn in Your Sword. I'm sorry, I wanted to like this book, but it just doesn't work as a story, and also the main characters are kind of like, just like, I want them to make different choices, and then also like everything works out for them, and yeah, I'm just annoyed. It takes place like after a grand quest, and there's this like thief and a knight who are these two women that fell in love. We have some flashbacks to during the quest, but it's a cool concept of like what happens after the quest, but at the same time you're like, well, I want the quest storyline also. So that one I think just didn't work. I can see the bits and pieces that would work, but it did never quite come together. The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling, she could run me through. Sirvoin, I don't care what she does. Man, this is a really, really fun book that came out earlier this year that is set in this like kind of ambiguous world. It doesn't really matter what's going on in the broader world, but the three main characters are trapped in this castle with several other people during a siege. It's a hot summer. They've been in there for months. They're out of food. And one of the main characters, Troila? Sirvoin, Troila, and then the other one, I think Troila's the... Anyway, one of the main characters is sort of like a mad scientist that has figured out how to purify their water supply, and she's been tasked to figure out how to feed them, and she doesn't really know how. And then the goddess and saints that they all pray to show up to help out, but it's not exactly them. And we get a lesbian throuple where they all kind of hate each other, and I adored it. I even made a playlist for it, and that's how much I liked it. Okay, last 3 minutes of my screen pile here. Daughter of the Sun by Effie Calvin. This is a independently published romantasy that is lesbian, and it's going and turning your sword because this paladin, who's the main character of the book, is so stupid. She is like fighting this demon who's taken over a town and then defeats her. And then like an hour later finds an injured woman in the woods who's the demon in disguise, and it's like, who did this to you? It's like, girl, you did! It takes her till like the end of the book to figure out that this girl who showed up hurt with a mysterious past and has like a toxic family is the same demon, like is a demon. She's so oblivious, and it makes me so mad. Also, like, someone else was deceiving her about something and she didn't figure that out. So, sorry, I didn't finish with this series, but I wanted to read about the one with the knight. I think it's still like it's probably a solid like lesbian romantasy series, but the main character's stupidity just annoyed me to no end. Island the Silver Sea. Oh, I read this in my Dimension 20 read-alike book, vlog, and I'm gonna put this in She Could Run Me Through. The main character, Vina, is so lovely. She's so sweet. She's a little dumb. She keeps failing her wisdom saving throws, and she keeps getting possessed by people, but I love her for it. And I really liked this book. It's my favorite Tasha Suri that I've read, and I hope she writes a lot more like it. Yeah, this is all of them, and I'm hoping to read more Lady Night books in the future. I'm trying to think if there are others that are coming up. I might read The Everlasting. I've heard really, really good things about it, and I read Six Deaths of a Saint. Maybe I should have included that on here. It's just a short story, so maybe not. Reads with Rachel is always talking about it, and I love Reads with Rachel, so I don't know. I might still read it. I read, what was Alexi Harrow's first book? I don't remember what the name of her first book was. I thought it was fine. I read some of her short stories too, but yeah. All right, that's my definitive tier ranking of all the Lady Night books that I've read. I love Lady Nights. I love Sapphic Nights. If you have recommendations, please put them in the comments down below. I might already know about them, but thank you for any recommendations that people might have. That's gonna be it for me today. Just a silly little video where I didn't have to read anything because I need a few of those. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!